Hey everyone, I'm rather incoherent, and today we're going to be tackling the 7th and penultimate scenario to Path to Carcosa, Black Star's Rise. Before we get into that, let's talk about my deck upgrades from last scenario. Before we start talking about the Ginny deck upgrade, I do want to briefly mention, she's at 84 experience. When I made the original deck I was planning for Green Man Medallion, I stopped at like 75 or something. I was like, there's no way it gives that much experience. As much as I hate Green Man Medallion, it has grossly exceeded my expectations. In the last scenario, the Green Man Medallion got us 6 experience, and we used all of it to upgrade the red clock from level 2 to level 5, which, because it's exceptional, means it costs 6 experience. It's now going to give us 1 more skill value if we use it for that, 1 more move if we use it for that, and the one we actually care about, 1 more additional action if we use it for that. And since we're locking it on 2 actions a turn with Eldritch Sophist, that makes it incredibly strong. After Green Man Medallion, we still had 12 experience, 2 banked, 2 from Sharon's Obel, and 8 from the scenario itself. And I finally decided that I'm cutting the backstabs. I don't have to attack very often in this deck at all, but when I do need to attack, it's very important. It's because something requires Ginny to participate in combat. I would rather have 2 pairs of upgraded backstabs than a Switchblade, to be honest. But the reality is there's just not enough card slots in the deck for that. I'm generally not willing to run any Cleaver that has no offensive potential because, let's be real, at this point the way we lose is to monsters somehow overwhelming Lily. Ginny is going to have us more than covered on clues in every scenario, especially with Lily able to participate using Sixth Sense. So I need some sort of offense in this final deck, and I'm going with Switchblade level 2. Well, level 3 now, I guess. And with a base 5 fist once I'm set up, as well as a million actions a turn, I should be able to reliably chip something down 1 stab at a time, maybe even hit it for 2 damage if it's a smaller enemy. I also upgraded my 1 hot streak, added in a new hot streak level 4, and added in a Money Talks level 2. And I also got a copy of Another Day, Another Dollar, which just means you start the game with 2 more resources. Aside from a second copy of Another Day, Another Dollar, this is just the complete deck. There's nothing else to add. During this scenario, the only thing I'm doing is spending experience to get exceptional cards like Gold Pocket Watch and Ace in the Hole. Because as it turns out, you have a hard time spending experience past 84. But since I am a green character, I can find something to spend it on. There's basically never a shortage of things that green wants to spend XP on, which is why Green Man Medallion is so good. If Jenny were, say, a Guardian, Green Man Medallion would kind of suck. She wouldn't really have anything to spend the experience on. Going over to Lily Chen, we had a decent amount of experience, 8 from the scenario and 2 banked. We spent 8 of that getting Bandoliers and Survival Knives. It's one of the few ways we can actually help our offensive power. Likewise, I picked up Discipline for Foot, which helps me against the Mythos test very slightly, but has the action ability 1 at a time to get up to 3 different fight or evade actions. So that gives me some more burst damage, and that's part of why I wanted Survival Knife, just to add something to it. Yeah, I'm just swinging at 7 with this. It's not the best, but it's something. And I can use Azure Flame as well for one of my attacks. I don't have to use my Bare Fist. It gives me just a potentially much higher output of damage in a given turn. But of course, I have to add another Burden of Destiny to get this in the deck. And I added an upgraded Emergency Cache to my deck. I actually kept the old Emergency Cache in for now because I think it's better than Dragon Pole, Scrying, or Talisman of Protection. This deck is pretty much complete. There are only 3 upgrades left that actually matter. That is replacing Emergency Cache with Backpack level 2, and replacing these Azure Flames with Brand of Cthugga. And that's only 4 experience for the baseline Brand of Cthuggas in the backpack, so I can definitely get this to my envisioned final deck no matter how the scenario goes, which is always nice to see. As always, I've done this setup ahead of time, so let's read the flavor text and then get into it. Agenda 1A, the tide rises. Your boat docks at Port de Levanche. But with the rising tide and torrential rain flooding the street, the boat's captain isn't keen on sticking around. He tells you he will come back for you in the morning. You tell him not to bother, for you probably won't be around by then. And this agenda has the strange ability to let the investigators, as an action, spend 2 clues as a group. And then we place 1 doom on this agenda, which can cause it to advance. Each investigator gains 2 resources, limit once per round. And the reason you might want to do this is because we're actually trying to progress the agendas in this scenario. And I did say agendas plural because while this agenda has a 5 doom threshold, this agenda does as well. There is no act deck in this scenario, it's just 2 agendas. I'll get more into how they work in just a second. Agenda 1C, the ritual begins. Dark storm clouds swirl overhead. A vortex of eldritch energy rages in the center of the storm. The ritual has begun. The gate may appear above the abbey or below it. You must choose which route to pursue and reach the gate before Haster's agents do. And likewise, it has the same ability and the same 5 doom threshold. The way this scenario is going to work is we don't know how to get to Carcosa. It might be above and it might be below. The way it works is during the setup, you randomize the agenda deck in a way that you don't know if the above path or the below path is the correct one. But once you flip the first agenda on either one, you'll know. If you go to another agenda, then it turns out you went the wrong way. And if you go to the correct act, then it turns out you're going the right way. The way that Doom works in this scenario is during the Mythos phase, you choose which agenda to add Doom to. And all Doom in play counts towards both agendas. When an agenda would advance, you remove all Doom from play except for the other agenda, and just advance a singular agenda. Porte de Levanchi is our starting location. It is a 3-shroud location with 2 clues, and has 2 actions. We can move 1 Doom from one agenda to the other, then place 2 clues here from the token bank. The first time through, I don't remember ever using this ability, and being a little bit confused as to why it existed. We'll see if that changes this time. But for now, let's add our draw buttons and get into the mulligans. Jenny's opening hand is pretty good, I'd say. I'll probably only be keeping emergency cash out of this stuff, because emergency cash is objectively better than not emergency cash, but I need to find double-double. Pretty much the way this character works, you just hard mulligan for double-double and draw. So I'm pretty sure that's what we're doing over there. Over here, we're hitting Cyclopean Hammer and Stand Together and Tetsuo Mori and Rosary. That all seems pretty good. Yeah, I'll just redraw 1 card. That seems fine. Jesus Christ. Okay. Over on Jenny's side, this mulligan is ridiculous. Over on Jenny's side, I'm keeping emergency cash, tossing the rest of it. And we're going to see another weakness. Leo DeLuca's great to see. Easy Mark's great to see. Well Connected and Falsey and Bargain are good, but not what I'm looking for to set up. No double-double is a shame, but I can just play Leo DeLuca and draw 3 cards, I guess. It's never too bad of a situation to be in. And speaking of drawing cards, let's go first with Lily and try to make her deck better. I'm playing Stand Together twice. Man, I really hope this does not hit Sacrificial Beast. I'll play Stand Together once and see how it goes to determine if I should play a second one. I'll play a second one. I don't think it's the biggest thing if I mess with this, or if I pull the Sacrificial Beast with this. She gains 2 resources, draws 2 cards, summons the Man in the Paladin Mask, which is fine by me. Alright, we avoided drawing the weakness that actually mattered. And as our last action, we're going to play Cyclopean Hammer. By the way, Stand Together level 3 is absolutely nuts in a 2-player campaign. Draw 4 cards, gain 4 resources is such an insanely strong effect. And admittedly, it's always that effect when you're playing in a multiplayer campaign, but in a 2-player campaign, it's affecting the entire party as opposed to just half of you. Okay, over here, I'm sort of hesitant to draw cards. But I mean, it's like a 4 out of 28, so I'm going to do it. I spend 1 action to play Leo DeLuca. I play Emergency Cash to gain 3 and to draw a card. I was considering playing resource cards for Jenny and looked over at Lily's money. The fact that it's at 8 is a mystery to me, because she started with 5, went up to 9, and then spent 5. At no point was her money ever at 8. Oh, something I forgot to mention about the setup. We've added a -5 to the Chaos bag, and we both have a new weakness in our deck. The eagle-eyed among you may have spotted that when I was talking about the deck upgrades. I'm going to need more resources to do anything, so I'm going to go 1 turn without playing this stuff, or without just drawing desperately. Play Falsian Bargain to put 2 curses in the bag, or to get 5 resources. I'm not doing it for the curses. I'm going to spend 2 of those resources playing Well Connected. And that's it for round 1. No enemies do anything. Upkeep phase. Gias is great to see. And Brother Xavier is also great to see. Top of the round, we get to pick which one we're adding Doom to. We're just going to go equal parts 1 and 1 until one of them is about to advance. We have no rush right now to figure out which one we're using. And evil cards. The Acolyte's going to spawn in an empty location. We're just going to put him right in front of us. He gets 1 Doom. And Lily's evil card is marked by the sign. Because the Man in the Paladin Mask is already in play, it's a +2 difficulty test. Oh, I clearly haven't switched our health from last scenario. Anyway, we're taking a Brain 4 test for 2 horror. I don't have a guts or anything of the like in hand, so I'm just taking this at 4/4, it looks like. I can promise to power this, but I'm not really afraid of the damage. Yeah, I'll just take 2 horror. Like, that's not the worst thing in the world. I'm about to be putting into play a lot of assets anyway that help me with soak, so I just don't care. And now it's our turns again. I'm not going to be putting my soak into play just yet, though. Gonna move, I'm gonna swing at the Acolyte at 9-3. And we hit our curse into -1, so that's actually just optimal. He's dead. We've got 1 action left. And we should probably reveal our location. That's usually a good thing to do. Force, after you succeeded a skill test by 1 or less while investigating here, place 1 doom on the agenda with the most doom. Neat. And I don't have enough money right now to make great use out of my Ever Vigilant. So I'm going to play my emergency cash that's under me to gain some resources to do Ever Vigilant next turn. For Ginny, I was supposed to play Black Market at the start of the investigation phase. Bear with me as I make this mistake over and over again. There's a separate detective I picked up between phases. And I have not solved my problem of not having double-double. I'm going to start cycling through my deck. I'm going to play Easy Mark for 2 and draw a card. Going to then reaction play this Easy Mark in the Black Market for 2 and draw a card. And we're stalled. I'm going to spend 2 actions putting into play Gios and the Decorated Skull. As always, my promise is I shall not commit any skill cards to test during my turns. That'll cost me 2 resources and 2 actions. I don't know if I want to play Eldritch Sophist for Soak, move up to Lily, play this Emergency Cash, play Haste. I'm going to pick Haste because Haste can be used as draw. I can spend 2 actions drawing and then Haste for a 3rd card. And since I'm bricking right now, that seems very relevant to my interest. That marks the end of our round. No enemies, so we go into upkeep phase. We're going to have to discard something over here, or not. We just test Lost Soul at 4-2. Tablet is reveal another token. We pass, no penalty. And in Jenny's upkeep phase, we see Hot Streak level 4. That's great. Still not double-double, but it is making sure that we'll be online. Also, the deck is feeling like a lot better economically than it did last time, right? Maybe I just haven't drawn my expensive assets yet, but having 19 resources at this point without double-double feels really good. Anyway, 2 of 5 Doom. Actually, I have reasons to want to keep them going evenly because there are cards that reference the most Doom in play. So I'm going to stay at 1 and 1 for now. And evil cards. Test 3 foot. If you fail, and then depending on which agenda is in play on the left side, you'll take progressively more amounts of damage and lose actions. Right now, it's just test 3 foot, lose an action, take a damage. I'm going to play this Money Talks to test it at 8 instead of 4. So 8-3. +1, I didn't need it, but it's not in my deck anymore, and I get to draw a card. It wasn't a good card to draw, I'm taking 2 damage. It's -1, and the stats are equal, so that's a failure. Unfortunately, if your stats are all 3s, it's really, really hard to get over test your stat against your other stat. And Lily's evil card is a Swift Byaku. I think I want Jenny to go first so that she can walk up to where Lily is and watch it die for the Decorated Skull. We never actually used the Decorated Skull properly. It gains a charge every time an investigator, ally asset, or enemy is defeated at your location. And then you can spend up to 3 charges as an action to draw that many cards and gain that many resources. It's the start of the investigation phase, so these are going to shuffle back into my deck. I'm going to move up to where Lily is. And I'm going to draw, haste, draw. And that's my first card is Drawing Sign. It isn't, so I'm doing this. Another Black Market and Deep Knowledge are both fucking fantastic to see. That's exactly what I wanted to hear. Because I'm apparently getting pretty close to needing to move things out of my hand, and I've already got 2 pieces of my Red Clock combo down. I'll be playing Eldritch Sophist for 4 resources. Sadly, he starts with Secrets, which I have absolutely no use for. That's because he can't convert secrets to charges. He just moves secrets around amongst secret assets or charges around amongst charged assets. Conversion would be completely insane and overpowered. Not for this. Being able to put them on Decorated Skull would not be overpowered at all. But when a Seeker is using Eldritch Sophist, they'd be doing something completely broken with that ability. But I mean, hey, they're already doing something broken with this ability. What am I even talking about? On Lily's turn, I'm going to swing at 9-2. And that kills it instantly, because I've succeeded by a lot more than 3, which puts a charge on Decorated Skull. Then I'm going to tap my Stick to the Plan and play Ever Vigilant to play Brother Xavier Holy Rosary, and Bandolier. That is 2, 4, 9, minus 3 is 6 resources. And because Bandolier is upgraded, since I have a weapon and 2 or more hand slots, I get +1 brain. So I just increased my brain from 4 to 7. I'm now swinging at 12. Seems pretty standard. And I'll spend 3 resources to play Tetsuo Mori as my last action. Yeah, she just swings at 12 now. Base 7, 8, 9 from disciplines, 10, 11, 12 from items. That is hard to accept as correct. Also, even though I've fully set up as, like, fighter, I can just play Sixth Sense relatively soon. Like, she is so online, it's kind of hilarious. Anyways, no enemies are moving, upkeep phase. Safeguard as well, so we're completely online. I don't know if completely online is the right word for it. It's really highlighting just how many resources this deck can spend. I have 5 resources in my hand, and there's a survival knife somewhere to go up to 7 that I still need to put into play. But needs the wrong word. I don't need anything else. Would like to put into play. Black Fan over here is fantastic, though. Anyway, top of the round, we have to pick an agenda to put Doom on. I'm just going to do left one first. I have no preference in the moment because I don't know which one's correct. Black Stars Rise. Test for book. If you fail, place Doom on the current agenda. I mean, that's not a penalty, really. I don't feel like I'm under time pressure on this scenario. Everyone's setting up relatively quickly. I may as well money talks it, because it's objectively better for me, but I don't need to. Anyway, I'll test this at 8 to 4, 9 to 4, actually. Get out of here. And the main reason I'm doing that is to cycle the card and see what's something else. This in my hand is sort of dead right now. Until I have double-double, I'm willing to aggressively play money talks just to cycle cards and find double-double. Anyway, for Lily, we have Mysterious Chanting. As always, Maiden of the Pale Mask is not a cultist, so we need to go find one. And since cultists are softball enemies that barely matter, I'm going to pick the one from the discard pile and leave the ones in the encounter deck there. I'm going to drop him over here at the Broken Step so that I can move towards the Pallid Mask and kill him. Or would it be better to drop him here and make a full lap of the map and then go left? Yeah, I'm in no rush to kill the man in the Pallid Mask. I'm going to put him on the right side. And I honestly don't feel like I should be wasting my time putting Doom on him because, you know, he's going to die immediately. What's even the point? Start of the investigation phase. I'm going to play Black Market. And we're going to see if I hit double-double this time. I hit Drawing the Sign, which is nice. It means it's not in my deck, so I'm kind of less afraid. I hit the Red Clock, which I'm actually super excited about. I definitely want to play this turn. Easy Mark doesn't bother me. I would like to play the Deep Knowledge. Neither of these locations are victory. I don't know what I need clues for, but I'm sure I'll need them at some point. However, I'm in no rush to get them now. I can just leave. I'm not beat up about it. I think I'm going to literally just get hit for one this turn. Yeah, as always, I'm going to play Lily comically selflessly. I'm going to spend her first action to play Deep Knowledge onto Jinne. I'm going to give her cards until I decide it's a bad idea. At this point, it might be a bad idea. I've got a lot of stuff I want to play. Yeah, I'll take the other 2 cards here now. Did I add curses? Obviously not. Next action, I'm going to gain a resource because I need it later. And last action, I'm going to move into the Acolyte's location. He will engage with me. And I could have walked in and killed him instead of gaining a resource. I'm willing to take a damage to get the charge over here on the Decorated Skull. For Ginny's turn, I'm going to play the Black Fan for 3 resources. Then I'm going to play the Red Clock for 2 resources. Then I'm going to tap Haste to do another play action, this time for a Hot Streak from my hand, to go up to 22 resources. That's not correct. I only gained 7, so 19 resources. Which gives me my final action from the Black Fan. I'm going to spend 3 of those resources playing Lola Santiago. Oh, we should probably reveal this location. That does affect my decision making, and it's just a rule of the game. This is a 4-shroud location with 2 clues, and while the current C agenda, the one on the right, has more agenda than the one on the left, double the number of skill icons committed to test here. That's neat, but I'm probably just playing Intel Report anyway. I think I'm going to Deep Knowledge, because right now it's not that big of a deal if I hit Sacrificial Beast. And I know I won't hit Reading the Signs. And it's got a 3 out of 8 chance of hitting my double-double, which is nice. So I'm doing it. Cool. There's people on the map now. There's a Stubborn Detective. And he's just going to spawn on my location. He's a 3-2-2. Sacrificial Beast is going to spawn at the location the Man of the Pallid Mask is at. Oh no, we need 6 clues to get in there. Let's put him somewhere else, like down here. Oh no, I haven't moved yet, so I can't. I have to put him here. That's a rather substantial delay to our progress. Oh well. Since I need 6 clues to get in there, I'm going to go ahead and spend my last action dodging this man, because I don't have a choice in the matter, do I? I can just take 2 damage. Yeah, I'll just take 1 damage to move here. Enemy phase, we both get hit. I'm going to take the damage from Stubborn Detective, though, and put it on Tetsuo Mori, because we have the second one in hand already. And I'll take the damage from the Acolyte on Brother Xavier. That's it for the enemy phase, so we move on to the upkeep phase. We get a Burden of Weakness. We can take a damage or a horror, which doesn't sound great, or we can flip something we don't care about. I'm going to flip my brain asset, or my brain discipline, that should come back relatively soon. And for Jenny, we finally hit double-double, which makes it probably work to have summoned the Sacrificial Beast in such an awkward way. Speaking of, we get 1 less resource. Because for multiple reasons this time, Sacrificial Beast is stopping from getting it, and Stubborn Detective is also making my text box blank. So, top of the round, we're going to go up to 2 Doom on both of these. And we're going to draw our evil cards. Test 3 Brain, and this one is the parallel to the one Lily just had, or the one Jenny just had, rather. I don't have Black Fan online yet, so I'm just testing this at straight 4-3, I think. Nope, I'm going to give Guts to it to test at 6-3. Thanks, Lily. -5. Well, it happens. So I will be taking 1 horror and discarding 1 card from my hands. I think it's gotta be counter-espionage. Will I really need a Faustian bargain after I double-double a hot streak? Probably. It's not Green Man Medallion. I am actually going to be trying to stack Green Man Medallion during this scenario. I'm gonna toss counter-espionage. It feels a little bit sketchy, but it's what I'm doing. And for Lily's card, we got a hidden card. Been a while. Oh, it's from the Return To set. That's why I was surprised to see it. Peril Hidden. Secretly add it to your hand. After 1 or more Doom is placed on Agenda A, take 3 damage and discard this from your hand. I really like this card. I like having hidden cards in people's hands that are encouraging them to make, like, not necessarily good decisions involving where to place the Doom. So I guess from here I'm going to start putting Doom on Agenda B. Or Agenda C, rather. Alright, it's Lily's turn. As her first action, I'm going to flip this card, my Discipline of Body. I'm going to swing with my bare fist at the Acolyte at 5-3. We're at maximum of 2 Doom, so that is a pass by 2, and it kills the Acolyte. And then we're going to swing at the Stubborn Detective over Jenny, because I'm at fucking 12. She'll be fine. Get out of here. And because it turns out we desperately need clues because Jenny can't make money right now, I'm going to spend my resources playing 6 cents. And I'm going to investigate at 6-4. What an easy game. Oh, it was actually only 5-4 because my brain was flipped over. I'll flip my brain back over. It seems like the better choice. And of course we get a clue. That's the actual point of doing this. And for Jenny's turn, things are a lot more awkward because we don't have the clues to go make money again. And that's sort of all my hand does. I'm going to go to the North Tower and see what the clues look like there. As my first action. 4 Shroud, 2 clues, victory 1. While the Agenda A has more Doom on it. Okay, so this is just like very similar to Outer Wall. Not the same effect, but depending on which Doom you have more on, this one could be easier to do. I'm going to intel report this for 2. Or at 4 for 2 clues, rather. Because at some point, time is of the essence. I'm then going to move down across back to the Grand Room and investigate at 4-1 twice. If I miss, I can use haste. Reveal another token. That's 1 clue. And the second one is -4, which is a miss, but I can tap my haste to try again. Tablet and a star. So I get both clues. And I've just remembered something really important. Jenny was with Lily when Lily killed all of those men. So, we get 2 more icons on the decorated skull. I'll put all of these into one little stack to indicate that it's 1 action. Oh, also, we forgot to use the red clock this turn. It's only been 1 turn, I think. But all the same, We did not get our +4 value that we were in. It didn't matter, we passed our first skill test anyway. And it looks like next turn, no matter what I do, we won't be able to go deal with the Sacrificial Beast immediately, which is unfortunate, but oh well. No enemies do anything, upkeep phase. Guts is always nice. Oh damn it, these go back in my deck. It seems so likely to matter that I'm going to redraw. Like, it's such a substantial portion of my deck that was on the board. Also, I should have gained one less resource because of Sacrificial Beast. Anyway, moving up. Which one is the one that Lily doesn't want to see it on? Agenda A? Yeah. I'm going to start placing Doom on Agenda C instead. Which brings us to our evil cards. There's 5 Doom in play. If I fail, I discard 2 cards in my hand at random. Tap Well Connected for +3. That's still only 6, 7? Yeah, it's only 7 to 5. Well, there's no way for me to help with this, so just like hope. Easy game. There are a lot of cards in my hand I really don't want to discard right now. Like, except for Faustian Bargain, I really value my whole hands. Lily gets another hidden card. It actually will almost certainly matter if I take the one that doesn't give you Doom. Actually, I don't think it will. I'm going to keep this in my hand. Next thing I pass by 3 or more, I'm going to fail instead. For Lily's turn, I'm going to spend my first 2 actions gaining a resource and then using both of them to play Safeguard. Then I'm going to attempt to grab this clue at 6 to 2, which I pass. So that's actually great for me. It looks like her discipline will also be flipping this round. That's what I was thinking about. So now we have 6 clues between us. I'm going to have Jenny walk up to where Lily is, and then walk away from where Lily is, but Lily's going to tap Safeguard and tag along to the Broken Steps. 3 Shroud, no clues. Force after you enter Broken Steps, either discard an asset you control or draw the topmost cultist enemy in the discard pile. Yeah, there's only 1 cultist in the discard pile, so even though I would like to take 2, I'll just be taking the one on Jenny. Oh wait, it says draw, so he's going to spawn somewhere else. That's a bit of a hassle. I'm going to put him here. I don't know that it matters exactly where I put him. And since Lily isn't given a choice in the matter, I'm going to discard Holy Rosary. Actually, no, I'm going to discard Tetsuo because Tetsuo is redundant. But a second one in my hands. I'm so bad at Delusory Evils. Delusory Evils triggers, and Lily doesn't get her clue. Also, Brain doesn't get flipped as a consequence of it. So there are some things that went wrong here, but we can play around this well enough. We have a base book of 5 right now on Jenny. As much as I hate it, I could have just thrown checks at this test, which is what I would be doing. So let's see how many actions we lost retroactively. None. Cool. We could also go down and try to punch this cultist to death. We are absolutely not going to be killing the Acolyte because this is not forced the first time you enter Broken Steps. It's every time you enter Broken Steps. So this guy just gets to live. We're not killing him. I'm just going to spend my clues and go into the Abbey Church. Doesn't seem like there's anything else worth my time. Yeah, it says an additional cost to enter, so we can just walk in now. Abbey Church is a 3 Shroud, 2 clue location with Victory 1. As the text, if there are 2 agendas in play with different agenda numbers, Abbey Church gets +2 Shroud, which is going to be happening pretty much immediately. And when I reveal it, I put into play a load of new locations, so I'll be back with you in just a moment. Okay, so this is the new map that we've added. The chapel is above us. There's a choir Gothique beneath us that leads to the Abbey Tower, and the cloister and Knight's Hall are both connected to each other, as well as the Abbey Church. One of us has to take the Sacrificial Beast, not that it matters, because Brother Xavier will be taking the damage. We'll go ahead and give it to Lily, because she's the one who's going to be killing it anyway. I don't know what I'm doing for my last action as Jenny. It's so awkward. I guess I'm just going to draw a card. And that's it for the round. Enemy phase, we get hit for 1/1 on Brother Xavier. And upkeep phase. Now neither of these have readied because of me going into this room, but oh well. Perhaps I should have stayed out of the room and let both of them ready instead, but it's too late now. And for Jenny, we hit counter espionage. And we only get 1 of those resources. You know, how badly was I misplaying just now? I can't get rid of either of these cards, and if I hit drawing the sign, I'd have to like toss everything but Hot Streak. I guess I'd have been fine. I would have been very unhappy, but I'd have been fine. Okay. Anyway, top of the round, Mythos phase. There's a Doom in play on this Acolyte, which means that this agenda will advance if I put Doom on it. And we're never going back, so I'm just going to do that now. And accept that I'm using an intel report to get the clues on Abbey Church, I think. Yeah, we're going to advance this agenda on the right this turn and see what's under it. As the vortex grows in size and force, so too does its pull on reality. Debris and rubble start to flow upwards, pulled into the terrible void. A thunderous crash shakes the island to its very core. Soon the whole city will be destroyed by the maelstrom. Shuffle the encounter discard pile and both set aside copies of Riftseeker into the encounter deck. Riftseeker being this enemy over here. Agenda 1A has 2 or fewer Doom on it, so I mark 1 conviction. Like that. That's a great example of me being like, I would not have thought this was a thing related to conviction. Anyway, apparently you can go over the maximum amount of conviction in this log, which is kind of funny. I guess once you get to 8, it doesn't matter anymore. Agenda 2C, the entity above. The whirlwind over the island continues to rage. Blinding flashes of lightning and deafening thunder assault your senses. Is the vortex above the key to opening the path? If so, you have no choice but to beckon the entity closer. Each monster enemy gets +1 fight. Action, the investigators can spend clues to place Doom on an agenda. And if we do, then each investigator draws 1 card, group limit once per round. Okay, so I'm going to be going first on Lily Chen, and it's going to be pretty straightforward. I swing at the enemies. First, I'm going to swing at the Sacrificial Beast, which is going to give me -2, and that's going to kill it immediately. Jenny is back online. Next, I'm going to engage with and then swing at the man in the pallid mask, which is -2 again, and again a death. So let's go tick chasing the stranger. We're up to 12 now, which I think is a pretty ridiculously high number. I don't remember what the maximum is, but I'm sure I've exceeded the most you ever get rewarded for. And this is going to put 2 more charges onto my decorated skull. Speaking of, let's remember to add charges to the red clock. And this time we're going to get 3 free movement actions. I don't think we need that many, but whatever. First action, I'm going to play double double. I don't have enough slots on my board for this stuff. Leo, I'm sorry, but you don't ever get tapped, so you can go to the edge. So I spent 4 resources to play double double, and then I tap double double to play Hot Streak level 4 for 14 more resources. The current shroud in this location is 5, making it more than a bit difficult to test that. I could intel report this, but that feels unnecessary. I don't want to draw cards, and I don't want to keep things in my hand that might get discarded, because there are 4 cards in my deck left, and Read the Signs is one of them. So I'm going to play this Green Man Medallion just to get it out of my hands. I'm going to do the exact same thing with Faustian Bargain, actually, and go up to 29 resources. And as my last action, since I haven't yet needed to use Well Connected, I'm going to use Well Connected to investigate at +7. So 6 + 7 is way more than that. That was 5 + 2. Yeah, so I get 1 clue from this location. And that's our turns. No enemies are in play. Did I not draw Mythos cards again? At least I caught it this time. Let's just roll them now and live with the consequences of our actions. I'd be testing 2 brain. The man of the pallid mask would have been alive when I drew this, so I'll be treating the horror as direct and it is a 4 difficulty test. Oh, I'm probably failing this then, because I have nothing to add to this. Oh well. Hey, I'd have failed it anyway. So I'll take 2 direct horror from that. I test brain X, where X is 2. And if I fail, discard 2 cards at random. But I'm testing at 5 to 2, so yeah, probably not happening. Okay. I'm glad I at least recognized that I did it that time. Which brings us back to where we just were, the upheat phase. Azure Flame is nice to see because it works well with her new foot discipline, which is currently offline. Drawing the Signs does nothing because I was specifically playing around it. So top of the round, I place a Doom, but I've got a problem. My memory says the second agenda tells you which path is correct. I don't know if that's the front or the back, though. So I'm going to progress the agenda on the left now to Agenda 2. But that might not tell me what I need to be doing. I might need to be going to Agenda 2, and I'm just forgetting. Regardless, we're putting the Doom on the left for now, 3 of 5. Mythos cards. The Spawn of Hali. 4/4/2, it's got Prey, Most Horror, and Retaliate. And if you evade it by 2 or less, take 1 horror. It's only got 2 foot. It's for a lot, though. 2 horror is a fucking scary number. Still, it's just dead. Lily has this handled. We're going to be testing 4 to 2 again. Actually, it's 4 to 3 now. I'll throw a guts at this one, 5 to 3. Or 6 to 3, rather. -2 is a pass, and I get to draw a card. I guess I'm flipping my fight discipline as well. Wasn't expecting to have all my disciplines flipped. It's neat that I'm actually using them now, though. So I'm going to go first with Jenny, or with Lily, rather. Going to engage the spawn of Lee. I'm going to engage the spawn of Lee with my first action, then I'm going to swing my hammer. Now we're at a pitiful 10 to 4. -2, it takes 3 damage. And we swing again. Star. Nice. It's dead. And I'll be taking my fist action back, because it's very hard to flip that one over naturally. Or my fist discipline, rather. And neither of these can actually flip this round, unfortunately. On a Jenny, I'm going to take a pretty bad turn that I think is correct. I don't like having drawing the sign in my draw pool. So what I might do is just use Decorated Skull twice. Actually, I can use Decorated Skull once, and then double Emergency Cash. That seems pretty efficient. So that I redraw my deck without the drawing the sign in it. So first action, I gain 3 resources and draw 3 cards with Decorated Skull. Second action, I spend a resource to play Class of Black Onyx, which does nothing. I just need to not be in my hand. Third action, I play Emergency Cash. Oh, I should have done this in the other order. Damn. Now my deck's on a cycle without the Emergency Cash. And I gain 3 resources as well. I draw Lost Soul immediately. I'm going to be testing with Well Connected to avoid taking this damage, I think. Actually, taking 2 damage when I've got so much more horror isn't a big deal. I'll just take the test straight and probably fail. Yeah, that's fine. I'm at risk of dying to horror, not damage. And at risk is a very generous description. I'm completely fine. Do I want to double the Emergency Cash, though? Yes, I have no reason not to. I guess that constitutes a reason not to. I'm just going to get rid of drawing this line like I originally planned. This man hits me as an attack of opportunity. I give the damage to Xavier, though, which dies and then kills him. And because I have so many damn resources at this point, I will tap Lola for 5 resources to take one of these clues as a free action. Alright, there are no enemies in play, so upkeep phase. Second Cyclopean Hammer on Lily is basically worthless. Second easy mark is actually very nice on Jenny. We're going up to 4 to 5 do on this agenda. And Mythos cards. We're going to spawn the Wizard of the Order somewhere next to us. We're going to spawn it down here at the Choir Gothique. And I didn't mention this originally, 2 of these locations actually cannot be entered until we either find a tower key or a guide, which are in the other locations. This is another part of the scenario that's randomized, and you can't know the correct path initially. This is only because of the Return To set, though. Originally, there was a consistently correct path, and Return To changed that. Anyway, our other evil card is the Spires of Carcosa, which does nothing, and we're not going to bother doing anything with it because it's going to immediately lose all doom when we advance the one on the left. Wizard of the Order is going to gain 1 doom, but again, he's going to lose it immediately, so I'm not bothering this round. And also, he's probably dead, which is arguably a bigger point of concern. I'm going to go first with Jenny. Lily's going to be tagging along the whole time. In fact, I don't think they're ever going to leave together. Yep, I figured out how to use Tabletop Sim to attach these cards to each other, because they're stuck together now, and they're never leaving each other's side. Jenny is going to go down, Wizard of the Order is going to engage with Lily, and we're going to see what's in the Choir Gothique. It's a 3 Shroud, 2 Clue location, and no victory. Place 1 doom on the C agenda to heal 2 horror. That's neat. Not what I'm looking for, though, so I'm going to spend another action moving back up, and then haste to move to the left. The Cloister is 1 Shroud, 2 Clues. Action, if there are no clues here, parlay. Test Brain or Book 4, and if you succeed, remember that you found the Tower Key. I'm going to play... I've not been tapping the Green Man Medallion at all. Let's imagine I've done it twice, so I've definitely had the opportunity to do it that much. And I'm going to be playing Easy Mark, and doubling the Easy Mark, probably. Let's not get ahead of ourselves, though. Let's see how it goes. Man of the Paladin Mask spawns. He's back at the beginning. We're never dealing with him. I'm going to then play the double as an easy mark for 2 more resources and another card. With Deep Knowledge, I can confidently find something to double next turn. I'm going to play this other easy mark as well. And then I think I'm just going to investigate twice. No, I'm going to investigate once and use Lola once. to just take one of the clues as a free action for 1 resource. Shroud is 1. My current book is 6. So, current highest demon on an agenda is 4. So that is still a pass, and I'll take the other clue. Then I'll attempt the parlay check with well connected at 1,000,000. That is an easy pass, so we have found the tower key. Lily's turn is next. She's going to swing at this man and kill him instantly. Or not. It's good to get a curse token into autofill, I guess. She's going to swing at 1,000,000 and kill him instantly this time. And I'm going to use my last action and all these resources to play a new Tetsuo for soak. Before we go into upkeep, though, I'm going to spend 3 resources to keep ticking up my Green Man Medallion. Enemy phase, everyone's dead. Upkeep phase. Azure Flame isn't really meaningful to me. Black Market is always nice. We progress the agenda on the left. And it looks like I have definitely misremembered and it's on the back, not the front. The tide continues to rise rapidly. The outer walls of the village is assaulted by hurricane force winds and freezing rain. The storm only grows in intensity as the evening turns to light. Soon the tidewater will completely flood the city. The current agenda C is not 1C, so we mark nothing. And yeah, this confirms what I was thinking earlier. The way conviction works is you just picked one and believed in it, as opposed to splitting them evenly and trying to delay it, which would be doubtful. I kind of see that, but I don't view splitting it evenly as actually being doubtful. I don't know. I don't feel like conviction or doubt should even be tied to this, but it doesn't do anything anyway, so it's fine. By which I mean this specific decision point doesn't do anything. Not that conviction and doubt as a whole don't do anything. Oh yeah, we should do the rest of this though, not just the irrelevant bottom part. We add the title tiers into the encounter deck alongside the discard pile. Agenda 2A, Let the Storm Rage. The angry sea continues to barrage the island. Waves crash against the walls and rain pelts the rooftops. Is the rising sea the key to opening the path? If so, you have no choice but let the storm rage on. Each copy of Ancient Evils gains Surge. We changed out that set. That's all we did. And the rules don't mention this effect. How is this not called in playtesting? I'm going to play to the spirit of it as opposed to the letter of it and give Delusory Evil Surge, because this is clearly wrong. Anyway, same text as the previous one, I believe. We get 2 resources on the left, 1 card on the right. We spend 2 clues to place a doom on an agenda. Limit once per phase, I believe. Or once per round, rather. Let's do our evil cards. Hunted by Miyaki, test 6 foot. Oh, the round ended. And while we were with an enemy, we didn't ever take damage last round, so Discipline for Brain flips back over. Like I was saying, though, I'm going to well-connected this to test at 14 to 6. Easy. Get out of here. I'd rather not just take 1 horror on all of us, so I'm going to play Counter Espionage on that for 6. Get it out of here. And you get to draw a card, Lily. And now it's our turns, and it's looking like Lily might actually get to flip her foot discipline this time. I'm going to go first with Jenny. Lily's going to tap Safeguard and tag along. 3 Shroud, 2 clues. Action, if there are no clues on Ice Hall, test Fist or Foot 3. If you succeed, remember that you have found a guide. 3 Shroud is not really much of an obstacle for me at this point in the game. I'm going to investigate twice. First time, I get a clue. Second time, I fail. And I use Haste to investigate as a free action. I get a clue on the third one. That gets us both of these clues. I can test at 6 to 3 to try to do the parlay action. I'm not going to, though. I'm going to play Deep Knowledge. I hit draw on this on already, right? Yes, good. But I haven't hit Sacrificial Beast is the problem. So I'd have to go all the way back to the beginning and through Broken Steps twice if I hit Sacrificial Beast. Which sounds terrible. I'm not going to Deep Knowledge yet. I'm going to use Black Market next turn to try to shuffle my deck without actually hitting the Sacrificial Beast. That seems like a way better plan. I'm just going to spend my last action moving back because we need to move back to actually do anything. Over here in Lily, I'm going to gain and spend a resource to play the Survival Knife in my free hand slot because of the Bandolier. And I can still get even more set up than this, not that you would ever reasonably need to, and play an Azure Flame, so I'll gain a resource to do that later. Oh, and let's not forget, I spend 3 resources to tick up the Green Man Medallion. And honestly, I'm just going to put this card next to it. There's no reason for it to be somewhere else. You know what I should remember to do, though? I should remember to put the Red Clock's charge on it at the start of the rounds, God knows how long I've been forgetting to do this. And then I get an extra action this round. In fact, I get 2 because we have the upgraded red clock. And then from here on out, every turn after I get my 2 actions, I tap Eldritch Sophist and I move the new charge to Decorated Skull. So let's imagine that I continued on and I went down here and then to Abbey Tower as my last action. Oh, this is just a victory location. There's nothing else here. 2 shrouds, 6 clues. Victory 2. Sign me up. Alright, now we're actually done. Thank God I remembered about the red clock for once. Upkeep phase. I'll toss the second Azure Flame and Lily. We have no chance of ever needing that. Glad we dodged Sacrificial Beast. And also, neat to know, even though these don't have anywhere to snap to, they still work with the upkeep button. Top of the round, and we're going to be adding Doom evenly at first. And oh no. I've just realized how much time I have left. I can actually get Golden Pocket Watch for free in this scenario, which I'm going to do. Oh no. Also, generally speaking, whatever you think of Jenny as a clover, having 7 actions goes a long way to making you viable. I'm just sort of looking at my 7 actions, and it is too much. No character should have this many actions per turn. Anyway, like I said, we're adding Doom to the left side, 1 of 6. It is 6 now, right? Yeah. And evil cards. There are no cultists in the discard pile, so let's grab an Acolyte. I'll grab Wizard of the Order because I know I can deal with him this turn. And just spawn him behind us. Marked by the Sign is pretty fucking spooky. I'm going to throw Money Talks at this for Lily. That way she's testing at half my resources rounded down, so 13. And now it's our turns. I think I take 6 investigate actions at 6 to 2. No, there's a bit more to it than that. Start of the investigation phase, I play Black Market. Second Black Market's fantastic. It means I almost certainly get to cycle my deck this turn without seeing my weakness. Unless it's the bottom fucking card. This is Sacrificial Beast. I'm going to be honest with you. I know what the correct play is, and I just hate it with every fiber of my being. I double Black Market and put a single card into play. I was hoping to double something that actually mattered, but I guess we're so far ahead that none of this is important. Okay, Jenny is going to go first. I'm going to play Hot Streak, and then Hot Streak, and then tap Haste. Whatever I play now that draws won't shuffle back in. Let's remember to gain my money first. Let's just go up by 14. I was at 24, right? So I should be at 38 now. I actually don't think I use Haste to play any of these. I just use my Decorated Skulls 3 charges. Oh, speaking of, we gain a charge at the start of our turn on Decorated Skull, and then or rather on the red clock, which gives us our 2 actions, and we immediately tap Sophist to move it to the Decorated Skull. Not quite what I was looking to do. And yeah, I'm going to use my Decorated Skull here to cycle my deck. I spend 3 charges on Decorated Skull to draw a card. Going to put the Horror on Eldritch Sophist. Oh, and I say draw a card. Draw 2 cards. We hit our weakness, and we're just going to take this test with Ball Connected. Skull is minus Doom in play, which is only 1, so we're fine there. I'm going to spend 1 resource as a fast action to play the Switchblade, I guess. Just get that out of my hand. I don't know why I haven't done that already. If I were to play Deep Knowledge, it has a really good chance of hitting something like Hot Streak. I just don't need to, I guess, is the weird thing. I'm going to spend an action to play an Easy Mark and then play the other Easy Mark from the Black Market. Hey, Stubborn Detective, it's good to see you. You were the one card I didn't want to see because I've already seen all the other bad cards. Well, I fucking stabbed Stubborn Detective, I guess, at 7 to 3. I hit him for 1. Stab him again. He's dead. You know, we avoided drawing Sacrificial Beast, but I'm not sure we improved our board state more than just getting 6 clues would have. Anyway, I'm going to investigate at 6 to 2. Which gets a clue, and I'm going to spend 2 resources to get a clue with Delilah as well. What a fucking mess of a turn. I did so much. This is the greenest, most rogue thing I've ever seen. I did so much that turn. But as far as anyone else is concerned, I just got 2 clues. Anyway, let's tap Green Man Medallion before we end our turn. And it's now Lily's turn. She's going to gain a resource and then use them all to play Azure Flame. And I guess I'll play Emergency Cash as my last action. This puts it in the order. If we have one Doom here, should have a Doom on it himself. Regardless, we didn't deal with him this turn, and that's fine. Enemy phase, nobody's alive to do anything. Upkeep phase. The other survival knife is actually nice. And counter espionage is nice as well. Top of the round, 2 of 3 Doom, we're fine. Or 3 of 6 rather. We get an Acolyte, we're going to throw him in the main path. Give him his Doom. And give the Wizard of the Order his for the end of the phase. Twisted to his will. There's currently 1, 2, 3, 4, because this second Doom isn't actually here yet. Doom in play. If I fail, I discard 2 cards at random. How Money talks that, just so that she can keep the Unexpected Courageous, or the Promise of Powers rather, in her hands. She passes, get it out of here, and draw a card. Black Market, good to see you again. Which brings us to the start of our investigation phase. I'm not going to be playing a new Black Market this time. I'm just going to put all of this back in my deck. I'm going to spend 2 resources at the start of my turn to get a clue with Delilah on Jenny. And then I'm going to investigate twice and use haste for a 3rd one. That's 1 clue. 2 clues. That's only on the agenda, so 3 clues. That's all of them. Look how much I can actually do in a given turn if I'm not just screwing around doing green things. Speaking of green things, this is going to gain a charge, and we're going to tap Eldritch Sophist to put it on the Decorated Skull. I'm going to tap my Green Man Medallion up to 18. I'm going to double this Emergency Cash. I'm going to move 3 times into this location. Once, twice, thrice. And Lily's going to take both of these cultists along the way. Safeguard 2 is such a good card. Inside the Chapel of St. Albert, we can find a 3 shroud, 2 clue location. You can only discover clues here if you have 3 or fewer remaining sanity. Take up to 3 horror as an action. Nice. So Jenny's still 1 horror above that threshold, unfortunately. And this is the point where the scenario is basically over, because I've just won way too hard. I guess I would move back to the middle and start moving to the other side so that I can kill this man in the Pallid Mask. That sounds right. And I think I tapped Green Man Medallion during my turn and just forgot to actually do this. I'm not 100% sure if that's correct, but I'm just going to assume it is. Over here, we're going to start swinging. First one's dead. Second one's dead. Because we're swinging at 12 to 4, so -8 is still a pass. Get out of here. These characters are doing some very reasonable things. I play the second survival knife. It's my last action. We're done. The scenario's over. Can we leave? Enemy phase is skipped. There are no enemies. Upkeep phase. We get Chronophobia on Lily, so she wants to spend 2 actions to get rid of this, or else she's going to slowly die. Top of the round, 3 of 6 Doom. Evil cards. It's agenda 2A, so we take 2 damage and lose 2 actions if we fail this, so let's just not fail it. That is -9, but we had +10 from Well Connected, and our base was 6. Very reasonable things happening over here. Test book 4, if you fail, place a Doom on the current agenda. At this point, the length of Sandbagging is determined by when I want to leave, not the Doom on the agenda, so I don't need to spend resources on this. I fail, and I put a Doom on the agenda. 4 of 6. Cool, we can do anything we want to. There are 2 cultists down there. We AFK this turn. I get rid of this, and I gain a resource. And over here, I'm going to put a charge on the Decorated Skull. I'm going to gain 3 with the Green Man Medallion. And I'm just going to gain 6 resources, or 7. Or I don't know what I started at. I think this is the right number. Like, nothing matters. We're done. We win. Upkeep phase. Sacrificial Beast spawn, so it looks like we will be going back to the other side now. I guess we don't have to. I have enough money, don't I? 5 of 6 Doom. Evil cards. We're going to be using Well Connected again. Get it out of here. And card. Oh, this should have went off a while ago. We totally take 2 damage. We've been putting Doom on Agenda A forever. Anyway, Lily's completely fine. That doesn't matter at all. And this is the Agenda C variant, so hopefully we don't have to go to Agenda C, or else she'll be taking 2 horror as well. I really don't need to gain resources, so I'm going to wait to see what this agenda does when I flip it, I guess. This turn, I'm going to voluntarily flip my head asset on Lily to take 1 damage and heal 3 horror. And then I'm going to gain 2 resources, I guess. Whatever. Over here on Jenny, I tick up the Green Man Battalion. And I think I'm just going to gain 7 resources with my actions. I don't need them. Like, you think you're stopping me from gaining resources, but the basic ability to gain a resource is not a card effect. So I guess it really doesn't matter that Sacrificial Beast is here, does it? Oh, that's very silly. Upkeep phase. I'm going to toss his emergency cash, I guess. I don't know. Nothing matters. 6 Doom. We progress the agenda. Hey, it looks like we found the goal. The path to Carcosa. The ritual is almost complete. All that is left is to find the gate and step through. Remove the remainder of this agenda deck and from the game, and replace it with a set-aside Act 3A card. Advance to that Act card. So now we've found the Act deck. Our Act is Act 3A, Open the Path Below. Tidewater churns around the walls of the city. Layers of reality unfold. Reflected in the depths below, you can see the twisted spires of Carcosa. You have no choice but to die then. Objective. If each undefeated investigator is at the Chapel of St. Albert and there are no clues on that location, advance. So we do need to take a horror and get rid of all these clues. That's not a big deal at all. Anyway, evil cards. When I fail, I'll lose the test. It's fine. I'm going to throw Money Talks at that, I think. Oh, I don't have Money Talks. Well, she is testing at 6, isn't she? At 5. Promise of Power, maybe? I'll counter espionage it. There's no reason not to. I have all the money in the fucking world. Get it out of here, draw a card. Okay, I'm going to go up. I'm going to spend an action on Lily, or on Jenny, rather, to take 1 horror, leaving me at 4 of 7, 3 or less. I can now get all these clues. I spend 3 resources in a free action on Delilah for 1 of them. I investigate twice at 6 to 3. Pass, pass, and for the last clue, I'm going to use haste. Pass, because there's no Doom on the agendas right now. That is all 4 clues. 2 from normal investigate actions, 1 from a haste investigate action, and 1 from Delilah. I'm going to tap up my Green Man Medallion. Oh, I lied. I'm not going to use Delilah's ability on this. I'm going to leave this here to avoid progressing the act. It's everyone's favorite time of the day. It's time to sandbag. See, 27 is nice. That's 4 free experience. But the thing is, this is the last scenario in the game. I can look at all the victory points on the map. There aren't that many. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There are only 5 on the map. If I want to buy a golden pocket watch for 8 experience, I don't want to spend all the experience I got from the scenario on it. Instead, I can just have it for free, which is what I'm going to do. I don't know what I'm going to cut for it, but at this point, it's just funny to me to get closer to 100 experience in my deck. So I've actually been thinking about how much sandbagging is optimal, because I can look at my deck and see how much experience I can actually add to it. I have 1 experience banked, 2 from Obel, and there are, I believe, 5 on this map. If I get 8 experience on Sharon's Obel, I'll have earned exactly 100 experience over this campaign on Jenny, which is outrageous. So yeah, just to say that I hit triple digits, I'm going to grind this out for a little while. And I'll put a timestamp at the end of this, but you can actually watch what grinding it out looks like. Because I've gotten a lot of practice at doing this over the campaign. I'm not going to edit it out this time. I'm going to just leave it in with the normal amount of editing. We're going to gain 3 resources and use all of them on the Green Man Medallion with the rest of our actions. Over here, nothing she does matters. I'm not doing it. Enemy phase, nothing happens. 1 of 6 Doom. Sorry. I'm going to flip these around now so that I can use the ticker. Even though it does ruin the aesthetic of this being an opened book. Regardless, 1 of 6 Doom over here. And now I am going to take my evil cards. Praying Byakhee, that's fine. Oh, I should have lost Illusory Evils and not gotten one of these clues. Let's imagine that I got less money and got that clip. Oh, hey, I got the clip. So I should have only gotten 2 resources of money instead of 3. Svetbiaki is an enemy, doesn't matter. Delusory evils. It's fine. I'll just keep that in my hand. I'm going to engage, swing, get rid of delusory evils. So I pass by too much, swing again. That is 12. Yeah, that's easily 3 damage. Get out of here. Oh, I'm not even clicking upkeep anymore, I guess. Yeah, that happens. I gained 3 resources and then use my other 4. I use my 7 actions to gain 7, so I just gained 4 resources and tapped that up. That's what my turns are. That's what all my turns are. I gain 4 resources, increase this number by 3, and then Lily kills the enemies. We use well connected to get through everything else. We're going to flip a thing. It's going to be our foot. Also, we took no damage, so this will flip back over. Top of the round, 2 of 6 Doom, evil cards. Oh, hey, it's a Rift Seeker. It's a 3/3/4 enemy. After he attacks you, you either take an additional damage, an additional horror, or place 1 Doom on each agenda. And as an action, I can place 1 Doom on each agenda and play and take 2 horror to discard him. But I'm just gonna hit him with the hammer like everything else. He's pretty much a normal enemy. Oh, hey, this goes off. There's only agenda C now. So I take 2 horror, nothing to do about it. And I'll take the Delusory Evils into my hand. That's not a problem. So, second verse, same as the first. Engage, swing, miss because of Delusory Evils. Do it again. 12 minus 4 is 6, which passes by 3. Get out of here. It is outrageous how high these numbers are. On a Jenny, I'm going to tick this up by 3 and gain 7 resources for a total of plus 4 resources. I just don't need to do anything. Upkeep phase to see if I hit weaknesses. I do. We're adding curses to the bag from here on out. And we're going to discard Easy Mark. It doesn't matter. Top of the round, 3 of 6 Doom. Evil cards. Testing 4 for direct horror. I guess we'll have to leave if I fail this one. So I'm just not going to take the test. What am I even talking about? I spent 4. Get it out of here. Draw a card. Acolyte spawns. Here you go. We'll have 1 Doom. Our rounds, I'm going to be doing the same thing on Jenny that I've been doing, which is gain 7 resources, spend 3 on Green Man Medallion. Over here on Lily, I'm going to flip her head asset again. We're only going to be here for 1 more turn, I think. Oh no, we're here for 3 more turns. Since we're here for 3 more turns, I'm going to flip her head asset to heal again. And the rest of her turn doesn't matter, so upkeep phase. And there were no enemies at my location this turn, so it can come back at the end of the round. I don't need this 6th Sense, don't need this Deep Knowledge. 4, 5 of 6 Doom, add a curse to the bag for the follower. We were regressing the Doom this round anyway, so I'm not even going to bother animating that, or the next round rather. Thematically, I really like the titled heroes. They spawn at waterfront locations, then they hunt you. Anyway, we're going to beat him to death with a hammer. No Ancient Evils in my hand, so that one's going to be 3. That's going to fail. That's going to be 3. Get him out. Over here, we gain 3 and we gain 4. Upkeep phase. We get a curse in the accursed follower. We don't need hot shrieks. We probably should have like 4 or 5 less money because we're not accounting for sacrificial beasts when we hit upkeep. We definitely don't need the second bandolier. Top of the round, Doom advances. Get this off the Acolyte. Something is wrong. The vortex must have triggered the gate by now. You research this ritual to the best of your abilities, but for some reason it isn't working. Despite you... It doesn't make as much sense when you've already found the way out and you're just hanging out, does it? Like, logically you shouldn't see this one most of the time if you've already found the exit. Anyway, desperate, you examine your surroundings. Wave crash just over the outer wall of the village, flooding the streets. Figures robed in yellow search the streets, their hooded lamps illuminating the floodwater. Suddenly, you realize your error. The vortex wasn't the key, it was the sea. You say from the beach, staring down into Carcosa. Anyway, if we hadn't killed Ashley Clark, she would spawn now. The Beast of Audubon spawns in the Chapel of St. Albert. Nice! That's more victory points. Which means we're going to get to 101. We're going to comfortably break triple digits. And remove the set-aside Act 3C from the game, advance to Agenda 3C. Your objective lies within the other agenda deck. Agenda 3C, the Swallowed Sky. The maelstrom in the sky envelops the horizon. The island starts to break into pieces. The screeches of uncanny creatures fill the air, and unholy choir praying to a force beyond your comprehension. If you do not act soon, the path will be forever lost, and nobody will be able to prevent Haster's agents from releasing his bond. Each monster enemy gets +1 fight, 8 doom. We all needed to be here for 2 turns, so that's pretty comfortable. But let's go ahead and see our evil cards. Testing 6 foot. I think I'll skip that. Thank you. Get out of here. We're going to summon a cultist. Honestly, we might be running out of cultists soon. I'm just sort of letting them hang out. He can hang out over there. And now we have to deal with the Beast of Aldebaran, which has 7 health. That's not really enough for what we do here. We swing at 11 to 5, 11 to 3, so it takes 3 damage. Failure. 6 to 3 is 3 damage again, so it has 1 health left. Ginny's going to... Oh, it's a massive enemy. It doesn't even engage. It was so dead that I didn't really consider thinking about it. Anyway, the Beast of Aldebaran, I guess I should talk about it more since it's an iconic enemy, is a 3/7/5 enemy. That's a lot of health and a decent amount of defensive stats for it. It hits for 2/1, which isn't anything to sneeze at. And the big thing is that it's massive, so it's going to hit everyone near it. And when you assign damage and horror from it, you have to put it all on 1 card. It makes it harder to use Soak. However, I'm just going to stab it with a Switchblade as Jenny's first action at 7 to 3. 5 to 3, 3 to 3. I fail, and we get the tablet effect, which is 1 doom on each agenda. Does not matter at all. We're going to try again. 6 to 3, that is enough. Or, actually, is it enough? 6 is my threshold, right? Oh, it's 7, yeah. Yeah, that's enough. Beast of Aldebaran is dead. And then I'll gain 5 resources. There's been 3 of them, tapping this. We almost had a real turn there for a second. I'll put the horror on Tetsuo. We didn't take damage last round, so this can flip. I'm going to toss Spectral Razor, I guess. Hot Streak, none of this matters. Top of the round, 2, we get a curse from this guy. And Upkeep Phase. Not Upkeep Phase, Mythos Phase. You know what I meant. I'm just thoroughly not paying attention anymore. We have a Rift Seeker. And this thing, do I have a counter espionage for it? No. I'm still testing 6 to 2? 6 to 3. That's fine. All right, we're done. I tap this up to 48, and I commit stabbing this man at 7 to 3. It takes 2 damage, and it's dead. I used Elida's ability to get this clue for 3 resources. And that's it. Objective complete. Only you can stop Hastur from escaping his prison. Take 1 horror, by the way. It occurs to me now that I've completely forgotten about that rule because of recording for the game, which is unfortunate. I'm sure I've probably said the name of the Tattered King more than a couple times in this scenario. I guess I've thoroughly failed to heed the warning by literally forgetting it was a rule in the game because I'm so focused on recording. I'm way more focused on the pronunciation of Hastur than I am on not saying it because my job is to tell you what's happening in the game. And yes, haha, take 2 horror, it kills Eldritch Sophist. I'm just going to go out on a limb and assume you all believe that I'm capable of not saying his name over and over again. I'll try to follow the rule during the final scenario, but holy shit, I just completely forgot this was a thing because I was so focused on recording. Oh, and if you're very confused about what I'm talking about, we heeded the warning previously, so anytime you say the name of Hastur, you have to take 1 horror. It's supposed to make you say things like the Tattered King or the King in Yellow, and the reality is it just makes you forget it's a rule and feel dumb. It is thematically super flavorful though, and I really like it, even if mechanically I think it's utterly pointless. Anyways, only you can stop Hastur from escaping his prison. Take 1 more horror, you dive into the churning waters and open the path to Carcosa, the realm of madness. R1. So our resolution is quite simple. We opened the path below, so we record that. We add cultists and tablets to the bag for once instead of one or the other. And we earn Victory X. Victory X is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. That's it for now, though. I've been rather incoherent, so I hope you enjoyed the video, and I'll see you in the next one.